Since 2010, only one other team has a better record in interleague play than the Texas Rangers. But the search for wins has been dodgy in 2018 after dropping 2 to the Blue Crew in LA. Tonight, a chance to flip the script. But it won't be easy as the Colorado Rockies roll into Arlington with the major's third best road record in tow. It's interleague baseball tonight here at Globe Life Park in Arlington. The Rangers and the Colorado Rockies, first of 3 on this Father's Day weekend. The Rockies bring some bats into town. Welcome in, everybody. Great to be with you. I'm Dave Raymond alongside Mr. Ranger Tom Grieve. Now, the Rangers' first look at interleague play here at home tonight. The other thing is our first look at Yohander Mendez as a starting pitcher.
We've seen him a little bit in relief, Dave. This will be his first opportunity to start. When you look at his overall numbers at AAA, they're not impressive. He's 0-6. His ERA is 5.26. But if you look at his last 5 starts, there's been improvement. Solid ERA, opponent's batting average is pretty solid, and his strikeouts per 9 innings are up to 8.3. Been one of the Rangers' best pitching prospects the last few years. This is a good opportunity for him as the Rangers continue to develop players, and hopefully for Yohander, this will be an extended stay, an extended opportunity.
And an interesting first test for Yohander Mendez. This is a Rockies team that started the month a game and a half ahead in the division. They're now 5 games out in just 2 quick weeks here in the month, but they bring some very interesting hitters into this series, and one of them certainly maybe the headliner is Trevor Story.
Now, the Rockies haven't played very well this month. Trevor Story has played very well. His average is close to 390. This is a kid who broke in 2016, had 21 home runs before the All-Star break, then he was injured. Last year he had 24. This year he's 4th in the league with 14 home runs. He's 1st in the National League with 50 RBIs. This is a kid playing very well, probably headed to the All-Star game.
A terrific hitter, a great defender, and maybe bigger, a local story. And for more on that, we go down to the guy with the best hair in the league. Here's John Radigan.
Appreciate that, Dave, and what a story Trevor Story really is. Grew up in Irving. He was always a Rangers fan, and he's been waiting for this day for as long as he can remember. The chance to play a major league game on his field of dreams.
It's going to be special. We did some, showcase stuff here when I was in high school. I think I played a couple games here, but this was my Yankee Stadium growing up, and always just in the stands watching from afar. But I think it's gonna be cool. When I'm taking BP, and but once it gets in the game, I'm gonna try to focus and just let it be another game.
Might be a little hard to make it just another game when you consider he's got 200 friends and family here at the game tonight, including his father, who spent 37 years serving the city of Irving as a firefighter. Guys, let's get it back up to you.
Yeah, big night for Trevor Story. Should be a fun one to watch here this evening. Of course, one of the other stories for this Rockies team has definitely been the state of their bullpen. When we come back, we'll talk about what's going on in that Rockies pen. We put them in the spotlight next. Rangers baseball is brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Now, what a night. Lots of sunshine, a little bit of a breeze. Temperatures in the 90s, ready for baseball tonight here at Globe Life Park. Great to have you along with us. The Colorado Rockies in town, and no doubt Colorado hoping that Chad Bettis, their starter, can turn things around in interleague play. It has been a rough go for him. A 7.13 interleague earned run average, second highest of qualifying pitchers. But the other story for them, the Shiner Box spotlight tonight, it's on their bullpen. Here's the problem. If Bettis has any trouble, well, the Rockies turn it over to a bullpen that in June has been basically the worst in baseball. An ERA approaching 9 so far in the month. We're talking about an OPS over 1,000 for opposing hitters. It has been a tough go for the pen. They do get a big guy back today in Adam Ottavino, but they have some things they need to get right in a big way for tonight's game and for their season, as it turns out, for their bullpen. All right, Well, we're just about set to go in this one. The Rockies, 33 wins, 35 losses. Their starting lineup tonight. They will lead it off with second baseman DJ LeMahieu. Charlie Blackmon, last year's batting title winner of the National League in center field, bats second. Nolan Arenado, Trevor Story, the local product at short. Ian Desmond at first base. Tom Murphy catching. Para Iannetta and Noel Cuevas, the right fielder, rounding it out.
Let's take a look at the pitch arsenal for 23-year-old Yohander Mendez making his first major league start. He'll throw a four-seam fastball and a sinking fastball, about the same amount, for a total of right around 60%. Likes to throw his slider and his changeup as his two complementary pitches. I think when he's pitching well, it'll be his changeup that really gets him out of jams.
All right, it'll be fun to see him as a starting pitcher. That's what he has been trained to do. That's where we have been headed with Yohander Mendez. A couple of tastes of the big leagues, but always as a reliever. But, you know, look, some guys might be comfortable specifically in one role. We'll find out as Mendez first offering a little bit wide to DJ LeMahieu. 96 degrees here at game time tonight, so it is a warm one. And that one, same spot for Mendez, 2-0.
Well, Mendez getting called up to start just continues a season of development for the Rangers. Talked about all the young position players who are getting a chance to develop. Yohander, another young player, only 23 years old, that should get an extended opportunity to start for the Rangers. There's some of the young position players we're talking about.
Swinging a fly ball out to right field. Chu is there. One away.
Let's take a look at the Rangers defense, which is delivered by Chicken Express. In the outfield, Joey Gallo starts in left. Shin-Soo Choo, who just made the catch, is in right. Delano DeShields is in center. It's Adrian Beltre at third. Jurickson Profar at shortstop. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa will be at second base. The Condor, Ronald Guzman, is at first. Behind the plate will be Carlos Perez.
All right, one away. And Mendez goes after Charlie Blackmon. Last year hit .331 to win the National League batting title. And I see very good numbers against the Rangers in his career. Batting second tonight. And finds himself in a hole 0-2. The thing about Blackmon is he produced all those numbers last year really out of the leadoff spot. In fact, kind of historic numbers out of that leadoff position. Set a few major league records. Trying to hold up. Did he go? No. Angel Hernandez, our third base umpire.
Let's take a look. That to me, that's a tie right there. It could go to the pitcher, it could go to the hitter. It's very close.
2-2 the count. Average down a little bit this year for Blackmon, but a guy with very good power. 13 home runs. Good speed too, as he watches ball 3.
I guess one thing to keep track of here in the first inning is the Rockies' propensity to score in the first inning. They scored more runs in the first inning than any other team.
Beauty, that one just misses, and Blackmon draws the walk.
And I guess when you look at the first 4 hitters in the lineup, LeMahieu, Blackmon, Arenado, Trevor Story, Carlos Gonzalez is not playing. They should score a lot of runs in the first inning. There it is, 19 home runs and 60 runs in the first inning. That leads Major League Baseball, and there probably aren't many teams that can put up a much better lineup 1 through 4 or 5 than they do. Yankees are pretty good for sure.
Now Nolan Arenado, third baseman, and he takes one just a little bit off the edge for a ball. And here's a guy who a lot of folks would tell you is an MVP candidate every year, and maybe more to the point should be anyway in the National League. He's won a Gold Glove in all 5 of his big league seasons at third base. a spectacular defensive player, and he brings very good power. He's a good hitter. Takes this one on the corner. It's 1-1. How about this? Since Nolan Arenado debuted in 2013, this is where he would rank among all the other third basemen in the game in a lot of hitting categories like slugging and RBIs and home runs. He's top 3, 4 in all of them. And it's 2-1. He's 10th currently in the National League with his average at 305. And among the league leaders in things like on-base percentage. 399 on base average. And he takes a strike. It's 2-2.
Good slider right there by Yohander. Not necessarily overpowering with his fastball, but if his complementary pitches are working for him, he's got plenty of fastball. 91, 93-ish.
Blackman with a small lead, bluffs, and the pitch, strike 3 called. Arenado down looking, 2 away.
Good pitch. Arenado did not argue the call. Right at the bottom of the strike zone. Big out for the kid. Fastball, you see the glove, and there it is, right in the glove, right at the bottom of the strike zone. Arenado caught looking.
Okay, so a big out for Mendez, and now here comes Trevor Story. Just 25 years old. We'll have to wait a little longer to see a first pitch. Currently leads the National League with 50 RBIs, 14 homers, a 270 average. 14 home runs, time for 4th in the league. Very good hitter. And he hits this ball in the air to left field. Gallo, a couple of steps to his left, hauls it in, and the inning is done. And so Mendez puts up a goose egg in his first inning tonight. And now here come the Rangers. Now we'll see if the Rangers can give him some support. Our Southwest starting lineup. Shin-Soo Choo leading it off in right, Delano DeShields in center, and then it's Jurickson Profar at shortstop. Heart of the order has Beltre, Odor, and Kiner Falefa at second base. Gallo bats 7th, Guzman 8th at first base, and Carlos Perez does the catching, batting 9th. All that against Chad Bettis, a 4-1 record and a 440 earned run average for Bettis. Well, Choo, maybe the hottest guy right now in baseball. 28-game streak, reaching base safely. And this is what he has done on the streak right there. 327 average with 7 bombs. OPS over 1,000, so pretty good. Little roller first base side, and that one's a fair ball. Handled by Ian Desmond, 1 away.
Well, for Chad Bettis, here are the pitches that he likes to throw and the percentage that he throws them. 4-seam fastball, 43% of the time. A sinker ball pitcher. Throws a lot of change-ups, and he'll also mix in a slider and a curveball. So all the traditional pitches, below 50% fastball usage, and almost all of his fastballs, statistically, are of the 4-seam variety.
There's one to Delano for a strike. Shields, good numbers against Colorado. Overall hitting .216. And just like that, in a hole, no balls and 2 strikes. Bettis looks like he intends to work quickly. Well, Bettis from Lubbock, Texas. Born and raised, basically. Went to Monterey High School in Lubbock. Was drafted out of high school by the Astros, but decided to spurn the Astros and went on to play at Texas Tech. Check swing. Did he go? No. 2-2.
A good changeup.
It's Speaking of Texas Tech, congratulations to the Red Raiders in the College World Series. So then a few years later, in 2010, Bettis a second-round selection by the Rockies. And he's run the count full here on DeShields.
Let me just correct something, Dave. I said his fastball was a sinking fastball. It's a four-seam fastball. The two-seam fastball would be a sinking fastball. So his fastball is not a sinking fastball. He chose not to use it on that pitch and walks Delino on his changeup. Look at the defense, and it's a very good defense for Colorado. In the outfield, Gerardo Parra has won a Gold Glove. Charlie Blackmon's the center fielder. Noel Cuevas is in right field. In the infield, five-time Gold Glover Nolan Arenado is at third. Trevor Story, outstanding defensively at short. DJ LeMahieu, veteran at second base. Ian Desmond plays just about everywhere. He'll be at first base tonight. And Tom Murphy is behind the plate.
Profar takes a strike. Jorgensen batting third today and playing shortstop. Profar 2 for 5 the other day in Los Angeles. Wednesday, the final game of that series. And he takes a high strike. The count 0-2. All right. You see Profar saying that's the way it's going to be.
Yeah, it's a borderline pitch. Top of the strike zone.
Bill Miller, veteran umpire and crew chief behind the plate today. And obviously indicating that the upper reaches of the strike zone are in play tonight.
Talking about Colorado's defense, it's tied for first in the major leagues with a .991 fielding percentage. There's one of the reasons why at third base, Nolan Arenado. They've made 23 errors, one behind the Astros, who've only made 22.
That one in the dirt. DeShields running for second, and he's in there. Murphy couldn't recover quickly enough, and DeShields now in scoring position. Wild pitch. Quick reaction.
Take a look at the pitch. It's a nice job by Murphy to block the ball, pounce on it, and make a quick throw. Turned it into a pretty close play at second. Delino's with that glove on his left hand is able to hang on to the bag. Looked like his momentum might take him right past the bag there for a second.
Now the 2-2, and that ball hit well. High and deep to right field. Gone! Into the upper deck. A two-run shot for Profar. And the Rangers draw first blood tonight.
Well, we showed that Bettis likes to throw a lot of changeups, a lot of off-speed pitches in general. In fact, he threw Delino a 3-2 changeup and walked him. Profar comes up as the third hitter of the game, and he gets a breaking ball right down the middle of the plate. Looked like a curveball that all it did was spin, stayed in a perfect location, and Jurickson hits it deep. In the last homestand, he hit a couple of home runs over 420 feet. That one's probably pretty close to 420 feet. Hit one of them right-handed over the 400 sign in left center field. And a couple of long ones left-handed into the home run porch.
Check swing, little roller third base, and no one going to get to that. Beltre with an infield hit.
Well, you couldn't bunt one better than that. The check swing. The only thing you worry about on an infield hit is whether Adrian overextends that leg issue that he's had. It's a little check swing that looks exactly like a drag bunt down the third base line. Obviously, even for Arenado, there's no point on that one.
So nice start to this one. Beltre aboard. One out, and here is Rougned Odor. And he takes on the inside corner. Now Rugi, you see, hitting .218, just the one home run. But 1 hit in 6 tries in Los Angeles, but walked 3 times in that series. Bartolo trying to keep warm here tonight.
Shouldn't have a problem. 95 degrees at game time.
See, to me, that's the equivalent of my kids in the winter who feel like they have to wear shorts to school, even though it's freezing cold.
Kids don't get cold.
They don't. And apparently Bartolo doesn't get hot.
As parents, we tell the kids to put whatever on that we think we need. But kids just really don't get as cold as older people do. There it is, 95 degrees. I don't think anyone's going to argue that it's hot out right now. I would love to hang around Bartolo Colon and talk to him all game long.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a guy with 20 years experience on the mound, his accomplishments. Seems like he'd be a fun guy to talk to all game.
You know, he seems like a guy who sees the game at that sort of that second level. As Odor takes one off the plate and walks. Second walk of the inning. Rangers have a couple of base runners here.
Well, it's the Rockies that lead baseball in first inning runs. It's the Rangers that are doing some damage here in this first inning. Already have a couple on the board and opportunity for some more. Bettis really struggling with his command right now.
So a couple of men on. Still only the 1 out in the inning. Now our Kubota power stats on Chad Bettis. Look at the road earned run average for Bettis, 2.03. That's 4th best in baseball. He struggles at home. Almost an 8 earned run average at Coors Field. You would almost expect that sort of a split for a Rockies pitcher. It's one of the things, though, that they have done so much better lately. Getting balance home and road, but not for Bettis. He prefers to be out here away from Coors Field.
He's done at home in his brief career kind of what the Rockies want from their starting pitchers. And that's just to compete against the other starter and try to win a ball game without regard to what your ERA is. He's gone 13-7 at home, but his ERA is over 5. So the Rockies always have a good offense, so they're going to score a lot of runs in their ballpark, and they accept the fact that their starters are probably going to give up a lot of runs, but just pitch better than the other guy and you got a chance to get a win. And at home, even though his ERA is pretty high, he has won. Not this year. All 4 wins have been on the road.
Well, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa getting a start tonight at second base with Rugi acting as the DH. Nomar Mazara was a late scratch again today, as he was in the first game in LA. And that one outside, 2-1. In LA, it was flu-like symptoms. Today, some soreness in his right wrist is something he's been battling for a while, so Mazara gets another day off. And it's 2-2 on Kiner-Falefa. All right, so look at the ERA by month for the Rockies. And you look, those first 2 months pretty good. I don't think you could really ask a whole lot more, again, particularly considering where they play their home games. But June has been rough.
Well, it's not getting any better this June. He's already thrown 26 pitches.
This ball hit well into left field. That's a base hit. Beltre around third. He'll head to the plate. A double pump. Now the throw to third, and they will get Odor. Gerardo Parra, a very good defensive outfielder, picks up the assist. And I don't know if he deked Rugi into that, but the throw beat him by a mile.
Well, you know Parra's reputation. He's been a Gold Glover twice in Arizona. There's another changeup that gets hit pretty hard. It comes right back into the hitting zone for Isaiah. But this ball's right in front of Rugi. He sees the bobble, but that doesn't cause Parra to skip a beat. And that strong, accurate throw had Rugi at third base by a mile.
7-5 put out at third base, and Gallo lays into this one. That one's going a long way. Gone! Just to the left of center field. Gallo jumps on the first pitch for a 2-run bomb. And it's 5-0 Texas.
Bettis has been much better on the road. We just got done talking about that, but not today. Rangers are jumping all over him. It's the second home run, and he's really been burned by a couple of walks as well. His off-speed pitches just have not been effective. I've seen a changeup hit pretty hard, and both home runs have come on breaking balls. A curveball that looked like a slider. Both of them have hung. Both of them have been right in the hitter's zone. And Profar and Gallo have really gotten a hold of him both times.
High bounder over the mound, handled by LeMahieu, and that will end the inning. But a 5-run bottom of the first, and the Rangers jump out to the big lead. 7th home run of the year. Joey Gallo blasted his 18th, and that one was gone. The second it left the bat. 5-0 Rangers. So now here we go, second inning. And Yohander Mendez up and away to the former Ranger, Ian Desmond. Did not go around. 2-0 the count. Desmond in his second year with the Rockies. Wasn't, when he signed with the Rockies, wasn't real clear exactly how they would use him. They thought maybe at first base or in the outfield. And it's worked out that he has handled first base quite a bit, although injured for a lot of last season. Limited to just 95 games last year. And this year struggling at the plate, but hits this ball well out to left field. Nobody's catching that one. Gallo looks up, and that's a home run for Desmond. His 13th of the year, 10 of which have come on the road. And the Rockies are on the board. It's 5-1.
Yeah, that's a very curious stat. Generally, with a Rockies player, you would expect a lot of his offensive numbers would come at home. But in Ian's case, the home runs are coming on the road. That's another breaking ball that really didn't do what the pitcher wanted. We've seen a couple that the Rangers have hit out of the ballpark, and that's a slider that just kind of flattened out right in the center of the plate. And Desmond smoked it to left field. All 3 home runs have not been fence scrapers. They've been well out of here.
The shortest so far has been 426 feet.
That's the shortest one?
Yeah. That was Profar's. This one was 427. Gallo went almost 450. Just short of it. So, temperatures up, and the ball is flying tonight.
So are the breaking balls. Breaking balls have been up so far, too.
Tom Murphy hits this ball hard over second base, and that drops in for a hit. Rockies catcher is on. Nobody out here in the second inning. Brings up Gerardo Parra, one of just 2 left-handed hitters in the lineup tonight for the Rockies.
Parra having a solid season. Not a real run-producing kind of guy. Not a lot of power. But kind of a solid hitter. Good guy to have on a team. Not to be one of your key guys, but to be a solid contributor. And one of the reasons is because of how well he plays defense. 7 years with Arizona.
Yeah, he's a guy who gets, I don't want to say overlooked or disrespected, maybe doesn't get the credit, but I think somewhere in there is a little bit of a sense of Gerardo Parra's career. He has oftentimes been that extra outfielder, and yet you pointed out earlier he's a Gold Glover.
Yeah, I think that's what has allowed him to not stay in the big leagues, but get playing time and often be a solid contributor to a good team is the fact that he's a Gold Glove caliber outfielder. He's not a guy that's really suited to the top of the order because he doesn't walk. His on-base percentage is not extremely high, but if you're talking for a 7th or 8th place hitter on a good team, solid guy.
Parra in their series against the Philadelphia Phillies was 4 for 9. Threw a walk, was hit by a pitch, and has been swinging the bat pretty well lately. Better part of a month now. Go back to May 17th. He's hitting .342 since May 17th. So locked in a little bit right now. Now he is a guy who historically has done his damage against right-handed pitching. In there today against the lefty Yoander Mendez. And a little tapper right side, good charge. Guzman to second for 1, and they get the lead runner. That's all they'll get. But you saw the Condor spread his wings to soak that one up and make sure that he got the lead man one away.
Yeah, with a left-handed throwing first baseman, this becomes a pretty easy play if you play it aggressively the way Ronald played this ball. In fact, it turns out that this is a much easier play for him to go to second base. Would have been a tough play if he had to go back to first base, because he would have had to stop his momentum, turn and throw, and I'm not sure if Mendez could have gotten there in time to beat Parra. So that was one where it was fortunate there was a man on first base to get that force out. And for a big mobile guy like Mendez, that's a pretty easy play for, like Guzman, that's a pretty easy play for him.
So Parra now the runner at first, and he does have decent speed. Chris Iannetta, the designated hitter, at the right side, and he takes a little low. Iannetta, a veteran catcher, and the Rockies needed him. They had to go out and get him once they knew that Lucroy was going to leave and test the free agent waters. A little high, 2-0. Jonathan Lucroy eventually signed as a free agent last offseason with Oakland, and that left the Rockies in need of kind of a steadying influence back there. Iannetta, 35 years old, began his career as a Rocky and returned on a 2-year deal this offseason. Swing and a miss, go down to first, and Parra back there.
A good shot at it. Nice throw.
Two 1 pitch. Yeah, that one looked good. It's a strike. Iannetta this year hitting .236 with 5 home runs. He's a guy who, over the years, has proven to be kind of a patient hitter, likes to draw a lot of walks, does have some power. 17 home runs last year with Arizona, and he takes low. It's a full count. Blackman sporting that big beard down here in the heat of Texas. I marvel when I see those every time. Well, this ball hit well out to left field. Gallo going back, might have room. He does, striding back to the fence to make that catch, and Iannetta just missed. 2 away.
Yeah, that one sounded good off the bat. By the sound of it, gave the impression it might go a little farther than it did, but I think he hit it just enough toward the end of the bat that he could only get it right to the wall, and Joey was able to stick with it and run it down right in front of the wall.
So 2 gone. And here is Cuevas, a right fielder tonight. See, 39 games played so far this year for him. Just the 13th start he's made in right field this year. And he lifts this one out over shortstop, drops in, base hit. And so Cuevas, the 9th place hitter, comes up with a base hit, keeps the inning going, and turns the lineup over. Hey, don't miss the Best Friends ticket offer. Get 2 upper reserve tickets for just $30. Grab your best friend, head out to the ballpark tomorrow. Rockies and Rangers, a 3:05 game. First 15,000 fans are going to get an Adrian Beltre Best Friends bobblehead, courtesy of Dr. Pepper and Albertsons. Use the coupon code BFF at TexasRangers.com/special. But hurry, offer ends tonight. All right, so now back to the top of the order. 2 men aboard. And DJ LeMahieu, the hitter. LeMahieu flying out to right field in the first inning. Rangers play him straight up. One and one.
LeMahieu's been on the disabled list a couple of times this year. He can really hit.
Yeah, he can hit, and he can play a really good second base.
2016, won a batting championship, almost hit 350.
Under with a long pause. 2 and 1. You know, you look at the the spray chart or just the hits by direction. DJ LeMahieu, pretty balanced left and right. And you see the preponderance of his hits going up the middle. There are a lot of teams that will play him the other way. I mean, I mentioned earlier the Rangers play him straight up. There are teams that shift dramatically like you would for a pull hitter. He sends this one down the left field line and foul. Now he yanks that one foul. But he is a big time opposite field hitter.
Well, that's one of the reasons why he won a batting championship. He doesn't try to pull the ball.
Last year led Major League Baseball in opposite field percentage, over 38% to the right side. It was the 3rd straight year that he had done that.
Be interesting to see in the history of baseball how many dead pull hitters have ever won a batting championship.
Now this one ripped into left field. That's a base hit. Gallo up quickly with the baseball. The throw goes through to the plate, but it won't be in time. Parra scores. LeMahieu drives home a run, his 22nd RBI, and it's now a 5-2 ball game.
I said this guy can hit, and he generally hits the ball where it's pitched. Just got done talking about using the whole field, how many balls he hits to right field. The ball that he pulled foul way out of the ballpark was inside. That was an off-speed pitch inside. So those are the kind of balls he's going to pull. If you throw him a fastball out over the plate, he'll drive that to center field and right center field. That's the mark of a very good hitter. I can't think of a dead pull hitter who's ever won a batting championship. Which certainly doesn't mean there haven't been any, but I'm all ears if you
right. No, I'm just trying to think.
Of course, we don't, I don't know if you go back far enough whether guys were pull hitters or not. The names of great players that we've never seen play before. Oh, I know one. Ted Williams.
Oh, sure.
Ted Williams was a dead pull hitter. He won a batting championship. Won a Triple Crown. So there's one. So much for that theory.
Yeah, he would be the extreme example.
That's what happens when you don't really have a theory. You just spout something off and act like it's a theory. Got to do a little research before you toss out a theory.
I think there's still a little. There's a little.
It's rare. Let's
something-
put it's rare.
Yeah, it's not to say you can't or that it's impossible, but it is.
I would say it
obviously-
probably happened in the old days more than it's happened recently.
Well, a ball and 2 strikes on Charlie Blackmon, who has won a batting title. He takes inside 2-2.
Both pitchers throwing a lot of pitches. Mendez has thrown 45 pitches, 25 strikes, 20 balls. Bettis had a lot of pitches in the first inning.
This will be
So
the 30th pitch.
middle relievers are starting to stretch out there. Maybe
be
not
ready.
noticeably, but they're starting to move around a little bit.
So this will be the 30th pitch of the inning here for Yoander and his 2-2. Little bouncer left side. That one's through. They had him shaded well, but it sneaks through anyway. Gallo to the plate. Not in time. Wow, that was a nice throw, but they couldn't quite catch Cuevas. And Blackmon drives in another. A 3-run inning. And the Rockies are back in it just like that.
Well, that's just the case of Blackmon just trying to make some contact, slapping the ball on a pretty good pitch down and away. It's not even a strike. But he finds the hole past Beltre at third base, and Joey charges it very aggressively, and a 2-hop strong throw right on the mark. Almost was there quickly enough to get Cuevas at home plate. Good try by Gallo.
So now the 8th hitter of the inning, Nolan Arenado, struck out looking in the first. 3 runs in the inning. Home run by Ian Desmond. Back-to-back RBI singles by LeMahieu and Blackmon. And both of them coming with 2 outs. It has been a long inning for Yohander Mendez. Lefty to the plate. There's a swing and a miss. Arenado, tough right-handed hitter, but he's struggled a little bit lately. And he takes the strike, the count 1-2. Now, Bill Miller, it looked like, was prepared to send the teams back to the dugouts on his strike 2 call right there. Got a little ahead of himself. Happens. Now the 1-2. Tight. So Arenado against left-handed pitching. And you look, since the start of 2016, only Giancarlo Stanton with a higher slugging percentage. Of course, right behind him is teammate Trevor Story, who waits on deck. That stays alive. Arenado got the day off yesterday. Wasn't real happy about it. See, part of the reason why right there. He was 0 for 18, struck out here. Bud Black had to have the tough conversation with him.
From a hitter's perspective, the way a hitter looks at that, if he's not tired or hurt, is I'm 0 for 18, but sooner or later I'm going to start hitting. And it might be the day you don't put me in the lineup. So this may be the day I go 4 for 4. I want to stay in there.
Hits this ball well down the left field line. That one drops in for extra bases. LeMahieu's in. Blackmon being waved. Here comes a throw. It's offline. And a 2-run double by Nolan Arenado ties the game at 5. What's this? Carlos Perez went down in a heap after that one. Looked like he twisted his ankle or something. which brings up a pretty big point. Rangers don't have quite the depth at catcher tonight that they normally do. After the game on Wednesday, and if you missed it on Wednesday, there was a collision at the plate. Robinson Chirinos was run over by Matt Kemp. They went chest to chest. The bench is cleared, and today Major League Baseball issued a 1-game suspension for both players. Chirinos decided to go ahead and serve his suspension today. Kemp's appealing. This was the 3rd inning on Wednesday. Big play.
It's one of those plays they're trying to avoid collisions at the plate, but if you're the runner, there's not much you can do when the catcher catches the ball and ends up right out in front of home plate. From Kemp's standpoint, he's perfectly within the rules to come into home plate that way. From Robinson's point of view, he had the ball early enough, and that if the goal is to not have those kind of collisions at home plate, he would have expected Kemp to come in a little bit easier since he was going to be out anyway. So I think from Robinson's perspective, that's the way he saw it. But from Kemp's perspective, you can't have any argument with what he did. Everything he did was clean, hard, and well within the rules.
All right, so this is just a moment ago then with Carlos Perez. You see the throw coming in, and he just got that foot.
Rolled his right ankle. Right there, you can see him roll the ankle as he tried to stretch awkwardly to catch that throw. Well, with Robinson out of tonight's game with the suspension, Jose Trevino was called up. He would be the backup catcher tonight. Looks like Carlos is going to be able to stay in the game.
And of course, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa would offer them extra depth at that spot. And Trevino, by the way, I mean, he's here today, as you point out, so they have bodies if they need them. But the Rangers are playing with 24 men. When you have the suspension, you don't get to just simply replace the player with another player. So the Rangers are going a little bit shorter in the bullpen tonight as a result. Now Trevor Story, 9th hitter of the inning. Mendez got a little breather, but he's allowed 5 runs in the inning, 4 of them coming with 2 out. This ball hit out to left field. That's a base hit. They're going to send Arenado. Gallo with another shot to the plate. Won't get there in time. And for the first time tonight, the Rockies have the lead. It's a 6-run inning. Boy, Mendez not looking happy about it.
Yeah, if this inning doesn't end pretty quick, Joey Gallo's going to have a sore arm at the end of this inning. He's winding up, and he's made 4 long-range throws this inning with all he's got. Hadn't been able to get anybody yet, showcasing that great arm he's got. Trevor Story, leading the National League in RBIs, gets another one in front of the hometown fans. Rockies, as we said, have scored more runs in the first inning than any team in baseball. Today it's the 2nd inning, but a lot of the guys that normally do the damage in the first inning are doing it in the 2nd inning instead. Arenado and Story have the first and second most RBIs in the first inning. They've each had an RBI hit. In Arenado's case, a 2 RBI hit. Story an RBI single as the Rockies bat around here in the 2nd.
Well, our Southwest Airlines bullpen live look. Matt Moore recently taken out of the rotation, warming up in that bullpen. We're only not quite an inning and a half into this ball game. Still an out away from getting there is Ian Desmond, who started this inning with the home run to left. Story with a small lead at first, and will draw yet another throw.
And the other side of it is Johander's already jammed 54 pitches into 2 innings, most of them here in the 2nd inning. He had a relatively easy 1st inning, did walk a batter. It's been a long 2nd inning and a lot of pitches.
0-1 on Desmond. Yeah, this will be the 40th pitch
of the inning,
coming up.
I think the most pitches I remember in 1 inning in this ballpark, Todd Stottlemyre started a game, and I believe it was either 50 or 51 pitches he threw in the 1st inning. Stayed in the game, weathered the storm, and pitched a little deeper in the ball game.
Left by Story, and the quick throw nowhere near in time to get him. What, 51 pitches?
Yeah, 50 or 51 pitches in the 1st inning. I wish I could remember exactly how many innings he pitched. I can't remember, but I know he went on to pitch longer than just the 1st inning.
A little better lead over there now for Story. It was 2-1 on Ian Desmond.
Yeah, this has got a chance of being Johander's last batter, if for no other reason, because he's going to be somewhere around 45 pitches if he doesn't get Desmond.
Good quick move that
45
time.
pitches in 1 inning.
Runner goes. They've got him picked off this time. And the throw down to second. Not in time. Well, they got Story leaning, but Guzman's throw just a little wide of the bag, and Profar couldn't get the tag on him. That's a stolen base for Story.
Yeah, Story was going on first move without regard to whether Mendez was going home or to first. So he got a great jump. But as, again, a left-handed thrower, watch Guzman come off the bag, create an angle to where there's no interference from the runner on the throw. The throw just sails a little bit high into the left, and Profar can't get the tag down in time.
Chopper back to the mound. Mendez has it, throws to first, and it gets Ian Desmond to end the inning. But a 6-run second for the Rockies has them in front.
Today's 2nd inning slam, and the Rangers did a home run this inning in the ballpark, restoring 3 grand slam dominance to the innings.
Call operations staff today, as several moves were necessary. The guys were already talking about the suspension of Robinson Chirinos, which he decided to accept. And Chris Martin, along with Matt Bush, also placed on the 10-day disabled list. Now, Martin's DL stint is interesting, and he too is a casualty of that brawl. He was running out of the bullpen, and the gate at the bullpen in Dodger Stadium swung back and knocked him to the ground. He had a bloody knee, and his wrist and forearm were bleeding. He still ran out to support his teammates in the brawl, but he hurt his calf in the process too. That's why he goes on the disabled list. He says he's fine. It'll just be a short stint on the deal, 10 days. He'll be back. But he says the main thing he did, guys, was look to make sure there is no video of that darn gate knocking him down as he tried to come out and support his guys.
Well, I hope there's not, and you hate to see anybody get hurt. Chris just came off the disabled list. It's an unfortunate way to get hurt, and just kind of add that to the list of wacky ways people have gotten injured and gone on the disabled list.
Well, speaking of players getting hurt, Carlos Perez, who had a tough time a moment ago, twisted his ankle, and now Jose Trevino pinch hitting for him here, making his big league debut. Called up from Double-A Frisco today. He's hitting .233 with 3 homers at Frisco. And he hits this ball down the line, but foul. 2-2. 6th round selection out of the 2014 draft, and he is a superb defensive catcher. Bounces this one left side of the infield. Arenado with that little spin throws him out, 1 away.
There's nothing Arenado can't do defensively. He's got excellent range, excellent agility, strong arm, accurate arm, great hands. That's why he's won 5 straight Gold Gloves. He's the best defensive third baseman in the National League. Probably would be recognized as one of the best defensive players at any position in all of baseball. That's how good he is at third base.
Two foul tips that one. 1-1 the count. That fastball up, and Chu takes a strike. So how about Chad Bettis? Give up 5 runs in the first inning and got to be thinking, ooh, maybe it's not my night. Next time he goes out to the mound, he's leading 6-5.
Well, it should give him a little bit of a second wind, although it may be hard to find it. He's already thrown 38 pitches, 1 out into the second inning.
Very high, and it's a full count. Bettis, a great story. Right-hander, just 28 years old. This one pulled foul, and he's a cancer survivor. His story was, became very public a couple of years ago when he was diagnosed with testicular cancer. And in 2017, came back. He found it out in, I guess it was November of 2016. Fought his way back. And it's really been a great story as he walks Chu. Chu extends his streak now to 29 games in which he's reached base safely.
You know, Bettis, you mentioned coming back from the cancer. He won the Tony Conigliaro Award for overcoming adversity. And probably a lot of our fans have heard of Tony Conigliaro, but in case you don't know anything about him, Tony Conigliaro played for the Red Sox. He got to the big leagues when he was 19 years old. He hit 24 home runs and missed a lot of the season with a broken arm.
Shields pokes one right side, and it sneaks through. A base hit. Chu will get to third base.
Getting back to Tony Conigliaro, the next year at age 20 he hit 32 home runs, the youngest home run champion ever. The next year he hit 28 home runs, knocked in 93. But the next year he was hit by a pitch. He was off to a great start in 1967, would have made the All-Star team, but Jack Hamilton hit him in the face with a ball. That was the result of that hit by pitch. When he was only 22 years old, he would be out of baseball for a year and a half, yet come back. And a year after he came back in 1970, he was 25 years old. He hit 36 home runs and knocked in 116 runs. He was on his way to a spectacular career. In fact, Hawk Harrelson, the great announcer, great Red Sox player who played with Tony C., talks about him like he might have been, without injury, one of the greatest home run hitters of all time. Certainly a guy that had a chance to hit 500 home runs. He had 104 home runs at age 22 and had already been a home run champion. But unfortunately, even though he was able to come back, his vision became so bad that he was out of baseball about a year and a half later. And so that award, the Tony Conigliaro Award, was named after Tony for overcoming the adversity that he overcame. In fact, when he got back in 1967 or 8, maybe 69, in the outfield with him was his brother Billy. Two Conigliaros. They both grew up in Swampscott, Massachusetts, right outside of Boston, so they were huge Red Sox favorites at the time. And it's just a shame that Tony had that injury, and we'll never know what kind of a career it would have been, but it was certainly off to a great start.
That story, I guess the thing that maybe I just never paid attention to or didn't register with me was that he came back and was as good as he was.
Yeah.
I always, when I heard that story as a kid, and then you'd read about it, see little bits on TV and that kind of thing, I was just always under the impression that him being hit by Hamilton, the damage to the eye,
ended the career.
Basically ended his career right there. I didn't realize he was the comeback player of the year in 1970, had all those home runs. I had no idea he bounced back the way he did.
Yeah, in 1969 when he came back, the first year back, he hit 20 home runs and knocked in 82 runs. Then after that, the 36 home runs, and looked like he was going to be fine, well on his way to coming back and just missing a year and a half. But then his vision went bad on him and didn't allow him to continue to play. I think for a while he might have tried to pitch. He had a great arm too. Just great looking young player. 100 home runs at age 22.
You would have played against him at some point?
Yeah, I played against him in 1970. But I love listening to Ken Harrelson talk about him because he played with him. You know, in 1967, the Red Sox had the great year where they went to the World Series. Jim Lomberg started 3 games in the World Series. That's the year that Tony was hit by the pitch. He was off to a great start in 1967. So, you know, who knows if he doesn't get hurt, plays all of 67, maybe the Red Sox beat the Cardinals in the World Series. Don't really know what would have happened.
1-2 pitch to Profar. Inside 2-2.
But that is all you need to know if you didn't know about the great Tony Caniglaro.
So let's take let's say like an everyday major leaguer, 15-year career. How many, let's see, 15 years times 162 games. You're talking about, I don't know, almost 2,500 games. Because how about this? In his Red Sox career, he played 802 games. He had 162 home runs and over 500 RBIs.
Yeah.
In 800 games.
Yeah, and they came, and most of it came before he was 22. The thing about Tony, which doesn't make it a stretch when you talk about what he might have done, is the fact that he was perfect for Fenway Park. He was a dead pull hitter. Takes care of that story.
Yeah. Profar rolls into a 4-6-3 double play. Jeff Bannister asking his crew, how close was this at first? Not close enough.
Not close enough.
It will not
good long at bat and a solidly hit bouncer to second base, but the end result's going to be the end of the inning.
So a double play ends a threat, and we go to the third.
Pretty good chance to tie the Rockies up, 1st and 3rd and 1 out. But Profar bounces to LeMahieu, who flips to Trevor Story, and the strong throw back to first base completed the double play to get Chad Bettis out of the inning, and they maintain a 6-5 lead.
I see Jose Trevino doing the catching here in the 3rd inning. So he pinch hit, and now doing his first work in the big leagues behind the dish. You mentioned earlier a fantastic defensive catcher by all rights. Tom Murphy, the starting catcher for the Rockies, leading things off here in the 3rd. He had a base hit last inning. Mendez trying to bounce back after a tough frame. That one off his glove. Karams to second. Kiner Falefa able to hustle it over in time. One away. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's say hello to Dana Larson.
Outfielder Arno Ara.
All right. Thanks, Dana. We will see Minnesota on our next road trip. Next road, we'll go through Kansas City and Minnesota. And Mendez comes right in there with a strike to Gerardo Parra. One away here in the 3rd inning. Mendez used 42 pitches in the 2nd. Now a chopper to second base. Kiner Falefa with another opportunity. 2 away. Hey, this Father's Day coming out to the ballpark. Final game of the series with the Rockies. First 15,000 fans to the park on Sunday. You're going to get a Rangers reversible bucket hat, courtesy of Fox Sports Southwest and Southwest Airlines. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Chris Iannetta 0 for 1. Flying out in the 2nd inning. And he just missed it. It was a ball hit pretty well out to left. Gallo did a great job of tracking it down. And he's ahead here 2-0. Gallo was busy last inning. Iannetta trying to hold off, and he did. Todd Tishner, our first base umpire. Well, the Rockies started this month with a 1.5-game lead in the National League West Division, but they have not played well in June, and all of a sudden, I mean, they come into this series 5 games out, and Bud Black's team ahead of only one other club in the division right now, his old club, the Padres, were 6.5 out, and there's a walk to Iannetta, and so they have a 2-out base runner. And there are the standings now. So the Diamondbacks leading the division. Dodgers have been making a move. They've been playing a whole lot better lately. But even the Giants closing in on the 500 mark for the year. The Rockies, it's been a bit of a slide. Cuevas fouls off the first pitch. He had a base hit last inning, 1 for 1.
I guess if you're going to have a slide like they've had, they're in a good division to do it, because they're still only 5 games out. And when it's bunched up like that, you put together a nice winning streak and you can get right back in it. I guess the one thing you question is their pitching good enough to put together a nice long winning streak to get back in it.
Pop up right side, but that one too deep for Guzman.
Thought she had it. With the Beltre jersey on, looked like she had her glove right there.
She'll replay that one a few times.
She had to come close. All her friends are probably saying, "Why are you bringing a glove to the game?"
Now they know.
Yeah, now they know. Now they're saying, "Boy, you brought a glove. Too bad you couldn't get that one." I couldn't see if it hit her glove or not.
No balls, 2 strikes. Cuevas today, I mentioned earlier, hasn't gotten a lot of starts in the outfield. His 13th today in right. And he hits this ball on the ground. 1 hop to Kiner Falefa. Nice job to stay with it. And it completes the inning. Well, we played 2.5 so far. It's a 6-5 game. Beltre will lead things off when we come back. Then Rougned Odor and Isaiah Kiner Falefa. They say Beltre, Odor, Kiner Falefa here in the 3rd inning. And then Adrian takes a strike. Judging by that expression, he wasn't buying it. This one high in the air. Cuevas coming in from right field. He'll put it away. 1 out here in the 3rd inning. And it is time now for Lowe's whole team together. So for the calendar month now, is that how you say it? Is it a calendar month or just a month? From the middle of last month to the middle of this month. How about these on-base percentages for the Rangers? Beltre was just under 400 coming into play. Chu at 473, but Trevino's, Kiner Falefa. I mean, those are big numbers that these Rangers hitters have put up in the span of a month. Odor walked in the 1st inning. He takes very high here, 1-1. Rookie's on base had been on the ascent recently. He's at 291 with his on base average at the moment. Checks the swing, or did he? He did not. Now, we saw some of the individual numbers. How about this as a team? The Rangers, a 333 on base in that same span. The only team with a higher on base average are the Houston Astros. What that means is this Rangers team has had opportunities to score runs, and they did in the 1st inning. Now the Rangers are also 27 and 43 as a club, 18 games out in the American League West. And so what that would imply is that they're not scoring enough. And that's true. While the on-base percentage is very high, the average with runners in scoring position, or the bases loaded, whatever, we've been watching those numbers all year. They've been woefully low. Strike 3 call. That was a close one, and Odor will quickly turn and head back to the dugout, 2 away.
Yep, that was a tailing fastball that, let's see, just touched the outside corner down and away. If you're a hitter, not a whole lot you can do with that pitch. It doesn't look like a strike. If you do swing at it, you might be able to foul it off down the third baseline, but being able to put it in play with any kind of authority, not likely on that pitch.
It's a first strikeout of the evening for Chad Bettis, and he does not strike out a lot of dudes. 0-2 the count. He had 24 strikeouts in 75 2/3 innings coming in. One and two. That one's tight. So that has not been his calling card, and there are guys who managed to survive in this game without a lot of strikeouts, but it more and more has become such a big part of the game. It's just rare to see individuals with the numbers Chad Bettis runs out there. Ground ball up the middle, off Bettis, caroms to short, barehand Story, and he throws to first in time. Oh, 1-2-3. Bottom of the third, it's still 6-5. Hitting in the home run challenge. Every home run in this game raises money for prostate cancer research. Since June 1st, over $1.8 million has been raised in the challenge. You can make a pledge by going to homerunchallenge.org. Well, we have already seen a handful of homers here tonight. Fourth inning. Top of the order for the Rockies, DJ LeMahieu. And Matt Moore is the new pitcher for the Rangers.
Yeah, the numbers for Matt, obviously Matt's looking for improvement. His ERA is high, walks are a little high, home runs are a little high. Opponents are hitting .350 against him. It has not been a good start to the season, but there's a long way left and still time for Matt to regroup. Has the talent to do that, has the past performance to do that. Just a matter of figuring it out and being able to go out consistently with his best stuff.
He's jumped ahead here, 0-2 on LeMahieu. And strike 3 called, finds the inside corner, 95 miles per hour with that one, and strikes out the first man he faces.
Well, that's a good start for Matt. Take a look at the fastball. Good pitch right on the inside corner at 95 miles an hour. You look at just that pitch, the location and the velocity, and you say if Matt can harness that and continue to throw that pitch where he wants to, there's no reason why you can't enjoy success, but still a matter of going out and accomplishing that.
Blackman turns the first pitch foul. More part of the reason, part of the thought of him, the bullpen, is I figure they can work on some things mechanically. One of the things they want him to do is try and be a little more deceptive, and obviously every pitcher wants to be deceptive, but specifically they're talking about not showing the baseball as early in his delivery. I'd like him to hide it just a little bit longer, see if he can figure out a couple of small tweaks which you can hide it a little bit more.
When you talk about deception, that's exactly what you're talking about, Dave. Make the hitter have a hard time picking the ball up, whether you turn your body a little bit, but if the batter sees the ball all the way through your delivery and out of your hand, It's much easier to time it. But if you can hide the ball where it comes out from behind your head, behind your body, the batter doesn't pick it up as quickly. It gets on you much quicker. I'm not exactly sure what mechanical changes he might do to accomplish that. Over the years, you've seen some pitchers. I remember if you go back far enough, Gene Garber, one of the relief pitchers, he used to turn his back to home plate. Louis Tiant used to do the same thing. And that's kind of an extreme example of that. I think most pitchers who have great deception probably had it as they got into Major League Baseball, as they got into the minor leagues, never had to make an adjustment to find it. Probably a little more difficult for a pitcher without deception to come up with a way to find some to make it hard on the hitter and still maintain your stuff. Still be able to have the same quality pitches that you had before.
Johnny Cueto used that little Louis.
Johnny Cueto for sure. Yeah. I think whenever you see a pitcher throwing 95 to 98 miles an hour and he's getting lit up, probably two reasons. One, he doesn't have any movement on his fastball. And number two, the hitter picks the ball up. If a big league hitter can get a fastball without much movement on it that he picks up and times, you really can't throw one too fast for him to hit. I guess if you get over 100 miles an hour, it becomes a challenge. But nowadays, with so many pitchers throwing 95 to 98 miles an hour, straight fastball without deception is going to get lit up.
Nice job fielding his position right there. Moore retires the first two hitters he sees tonight.
Third baseman Nolan Arenado.
You definitely help yourself if you can field your position as a pitcher. Not an extremely hard hit ball, but still in the position Matt was to field it, he did well to come up with it. You know, the opposite of that, Dave, is a pitcher who throws 89 to 92 miles an hour, which you might consider about an average fastball, but with the deception and the hitter not being able to pick up the ball, has a more effective fastball than someone that throws 5 or 6 miles an hour harder.
Bartolo Colon.
Yeah, Bartolo might be that kind of guy. I think I've told this story before, but when Nellie Fox used to throw batting practice to us, he was probably throwing, who knows, 50 miles an hour, 55 miles an hour, trying to lay him right down the middle. But he was short, and he used to turn the pitching guard that he would put up, the screen. They didn't have the same sophisticated screens they have now, so he'd turn it sideways so it was taller than he was. And in order to throw the ball, he had to throw around it. So he would wind up behind the screen. You couldn't see anything. And all you could see is right at the end, when his hand came out from the side of the screen, you'd see the ball. And even though it was going 50 miles an hour, 55 miles an hour, because you couldn't see it, you couldn't see him deliver the ball till right at the end, it was kind of hard to pick his ball up. It made him, even throwing that slow speed, sometimes a challenge to hit in batting practice. The ultimate example of that is the old pitching machine they used to have, that all there was a hole in the side of a board with a pitching machine behind it. So you couldn't even see the arm of the pitching machine. All you would hear is a bell go ding ding, and then 3 or 4 seconds later the pitch would come. And it was almost impossible to hit that thing because you just couldn't wait the 2 or 3 seconds after you heard the ding, and all you could see is the ball come out from a little hole in this side of the pitching machine. Without seeing the arm, you couldn't time it. And those pitching machines lasted a very short time because no one wanted to hit off of them. Sounded like a good concept, but never really worked. So that would be the ultimate deception, not be able to see anything until the ball popped out from nowhere.
Yeah, that seems hard. Seems unfair.
Yeah. Well, you know, it wasn't going very fast, but still no one liked to hit against it.
Will pop up behind the plate by Arenado, and it'll be a souvenir. So when I think of, you know, deceptive pitchers, and there are obviously the guys that try to hide it, like you were talking about Louis Tiant or whomever. What about like a guy like Dan Quisenberry, one of those side-arming submariners who would come down low? Were those guys difficult to see?
I'm not sure if he was difficult to pick up, but because it was such an unorthodox delivery, It was unusual. There weren't many guys throwing like him. You know, a pitcher throwing from way down there. Chad Bradford used to hit the dirt sometimes when he threw his pitch. If you throw a slider from down there, it almost does go up, which becomes the angle of the pitch is something you never see from a pitcher that throws with a normal delivery. The ball, every ball goes down. Nothing can go up if you throw it overhand or 3/4, but you can make a ball go up like a fast pitch softball pitcher if you throw it from way down there. And so that kind of action on a slider, because you never see it, makes it difficult. But just the difference in the delivery was probably the deceptive part of Quisenberry. To me, one of the ultimate guys, and some people may not remember him, was Sid Fernandez. Sid Fernandez was a big, stocky left-hander, pitched for the Mets. Didn't throw all that hard, but he was a huge strikeout guy in the minor leagues. He threw 90, 91 miles an hour. But he was a big, solidly built guy. And when he let go of the ball, he threw from a very low arm slot, and the ball came from behind his body, and that provided the deception. You never saw the ball until he let go of it. He hit it behind his body, but that was his delivery. It was natural. It's not something he did to try to be deceptive. It was something I think he was from Hawaii, something he did in high school. That's just the way he pitched. So without velocity, and you watch the hitter swing, sometimes it looked like he was throwing 95 or 96 miles an hour. And, you know, the older scouts would say it's not, I don't care what the radar gun says, the hitters will tell you how hard a pitcher's throwing, and that's really true. The guys are up there comfortable taking huge swings. The gun may say 96 or 97, but it doesn't make much difference. The hitters are teeing off on him.
Oh, strike 3 called on Trevor Story. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Matt Moore. Off we go now to the bottom of the 4th inning in a 6-5 game. Joey Gallo will lead it off when we come back. For the 2nd year in a row, Jake Diekman and the Rangers hosted a Gut It Out Awareness Night here at Globe Life Park, an organization he founded along with his wife Amanda, trying to strengthen relationships and resources within the inflammatory bowel disease community, the IBD community. Jake has pledged $100 for every strikeout this year, and of course we're asking fans to join him. Make a pledge of your own. There's a chance to win some exclusive prizes, including a limited edition Gut It Out pair of sweatpants. Just go to pledgeit.org/gutitout. Help out Jake and his foundation. It's a really great group as Joey Gallo leads things off here in the 4th inning.
Check the defensive alignment. This is one I've never seen. This is a 4 outfielder defensive alignment. They put the shift in the infield. Joey tries to bunt into that, and they've got 4 outfielders. So rather than having the 3 infielders on the right side with one of the infielders well out in the outfield, they have LeMahieu kind of out in the outfield, not as deeply as we see sometimes, but I've never seen 4 outfielders except late in the game with a game on the line where a sacrifice fly wins the game, or man on third base, less than 2 outs, tie game. But they've got a left fielder, one of the left fielders, playing almost down the left field line.
It's so weird that they choose to do some of these different shifts, you know, from time to time. It's not always the same. Joey swings and misses. It's 2-2.
You know, Joey is a dead pull hitter on the ground, but in the air not so much. In fact, his home run was hit to left center field, to the left of second base anyway. Well, I'm sure the Rockies said, well, we've got plenty of good defensive guys on the right side of the infield, but we're going to use 4 of them in the outfield, because when he hits the ball in the air, he sprays it more than he does when he hits it on the ground.
There's literally 1 infielder on the dirt, Ian Desmond.
Yeah, he's barely on the dirt. Well, I hope he hits one right at the umpire. Alan Porter can make the play.
Oh, takes strike 3, and Gallo down looking, 1 away here in the 4th inning.
I like the throw from the catcher after the out. Watch what the catcher does if we have it. Generally, you throw to third base and they throw it around the infield. He has to throw it out into center field to throw the ball around the infield after that out. That's kind of an interesting little sidelight to the game when you see a defensive alignment like that.
Now Guzman. And he takes a strike. I don't understand the four-man outfield against Joey Gallo. We've seen the Astros do it, and the Dodgers did it the other day in LA. Because my thinking is, with the launch angle that he provides, right, and the hang time he gets on his fly balls, I mean, 3 outfielders really ought to be enough. If it stays in the park, you should be able to track that down somehow. But they go with 4, and I think
I don't know
much
how
of
many.
it's mental.
I don't know how many balls he's hit in the air right down the left field line to where the left fielder shading that way of the 4 would get a lot of plays. Maybe he's hit more than we think. No, he's hit a lot of ground balls between first and second base that have been turned into outs. So I'm kind of there with you on the ground. Seems like the extra guy fielding a ground ball would give you a better chance to get him out.
Ooh, strike called to Guzman. So a couple of close strikes this inning. Guzman didn't like that. Full count now.
Whew. That's the pitch that Odor struck out on. Almost the exact same pitch. Better be ready.
Yeah, he wanted time but didn't get it from Bill Miller.
Called
He's
it
going
too
to be
late.
upset with it, but if the ump doesn't give it to you, you don't get time.
Now once you realize you don't get time, and you see the pitcher throwing the ball, you better get back in there and be ready to swing. The umpire never yelled time.
The catcher, Jose Trevino.
See, he'd already started his delivery. So if you're Ronald Guzman and you see the pitcher continue his windup, you got to put your bat on get your bat ready and swing at it. Doesn't matter if you call time if he doesn't give you time. And once he starts his delivery, umpire's perfectly justified in saying, no, I can't give it now. You've asked too late. Already started his delivery.
Trevino rips this one, but foul. 1-1. Second at bat tonight for Trevino. He just missed a home run in his first at bat. Similar type swing down the line.
You know, if you call for time like that and you're not sure whether you got it and you see the pitcher continuing to pitch, step back in and swing if it's a strike. If he's called timeout, you're going to get timeout anyway, even if you do swing and make an out. But in case he didn't call time, which in that case he didn't call time, at least you got a chance to put the ball in play. But when you step back and just watch him throw it over the plate for strike 3, not much you can do about it.
I get what happens in a guy's head, right? It's like, well, I called time, and you I'm sure you can sense that you're not getting it, and so you want to sell it a little bit more. It doesn't matter how much you sell it though, because either they bought or they didn't. It's over.
If you're going to get time, it's already called.
Yeah.
If you hit the ball out of the ballpark, it won't count, and if you swing and miss, it won't count. But if you take it down the middle and you didn't get timeout, then you strike out.
A little rollout that time by Trevino, and it's a quiet 4th for the Rangers, down by 1. Off to the distance. Exciting day today. The first steel construction began on the new Globe Life Field. Steel work for the facility begins for the Rangers executive offices, and then we'll move into the seating bowl. It's expected at about 35,000 tons of steel. 16,000 in the seating bowl, 19,000 in the roof will be used in the construction of the new ballpark. And there's some good help they got today out there. These guys don't just play baseball. They can help in a lot of ways. Chu and Mazzara out there raising the spirit of the crews, getting some of the excitement in the air. We're getting ready. I mean, March 2020, and that thing's opening.
Yeah. And Texas Live, that's scheduled for mid-August, right?
Yeah. This summer we're going to be.
Boy, there's going to be some finishing work done in a mad way over the next 2 months. That's going to be fun watching that come into play.
And Desmond blasts that one into the bullpen. 1-0 pitch opposite way for Desmond, his second home run of the night. And he has the Rockies in front by 2.
Well, he's hit a couple of rockets, that's for sure. Long one to left and a line shot over the 377 zone. Desmond came into the game hitting below 200. But over his last couple of weeks, he's been hitting much better than that. His on-base percentage now over the last couple of weeks is probably close to 400. And during that amount of time, that's his 6th home run that he's hit. So he's heating up.
So 7-5 the score, and now time called. So Yoander Mendez started the game, went 3 innings, allowed 6 runs on 7 hits, walked 2 and struck out only 1. Moore through a scoreless 4th inning. That one a little bit high. Pardon me, a strike. A high strike to Tom Murphy. Murphy 1 for 2 on the base hit in the 2nd inning. So this is Moore's first outing in relief this year with the Rangers. Goes 1-1. So construction has been underway, obviously, at Texas Live, and the ballpark has been getting just as much attention, but the first steal going in today. This one a little bit in there for strike 1 and 2. There's Texas Live. You talk about the finishing work time. You see some lights on in there now. See that? Oh, hey, they are getting close, and they're just beyond right field. Those cranes that have been working so hard to get this ballpark ready and in a hurry. The 1-2 fouled off. New Globe Life Field's going to seat right around 40,000, and of course with that retractable roof, it will have a feature that we haven't seen in these parts before: air conditioning. So some climate controlled comfort. Swing and a miss, and Murphy strikes out. 1 away here in the 6th inning. We check in with John Radigan.
Yeah, Dave, there was a great picture taken at the event when the steel was first erected today, and it was taken by team photographer Kelly Gavin. Of course, you already saw that Shin-Soo Choo and Nomar Mazara were there. So there's the picture. So I see that, and I'm thinking, man, that looks familiar to me. Now I take you back to October 30th, 1992, 26 years ago or thereabouts. Juan Gonzalez and Rafael Palmeira in a similar picture. That one taken by the late, great Linda Kay. Kelly tells me that it was a tribute to Linda Kay, that she did a picture very similar today. And then she told me, John, you were around for both events. You're really old. So there you go. There's Kelly.
Kelly.
Linda Kay was one of the all-time personalities in Ranger baseball history. In the early days, I can remember Linda Kay coming to the ballpark as a photographer, getting there early, and then when the Rangers were taking batting practice and infield practice, while one of the coaches would be hitting fungos to the infielders, she'd set her camera down, grab a glove, and catch the throw in from the first baseman and toss it to the coach hitting the fungos to the infielders. So she could have been one of the coaches on the team as well.
That's awesome.
What a great lady. So much fun to be around.
This ball hit well out to right field. Choo ranging over. 2 gone.
Yeah, fortunately, Parra had that ball get in on his hands a little bit. Never really jumped off the bat. Ended up going about to the warning track, but not hit that well, fortunately. Got jammed a little bit up and in, not probably in the strike zone.
It's all 2 away, and here is Chris Iannetta. Iannetta the DH today. 0 for 1 with a walk. Matt Moore in relief of Yoander Mendez, and he is throwing to Jose Trevino. Carlos Perez left the game, and we get a report. It is a right ankle sprain. I mean, we saw him roll the ankle. Looks pretty clear that that was the case, and so they did take him in for x-rays. They have come back negative, so it is just a right ankle sprain, and they will take that day to day. Meanwhile, Trevino gets a shot 1-2 the count to Ionetta. I was mentioning earlier, he's such a great defensive catcher. He won the Rawlings Minor League Gold Glove Award as a top defensive catcher in all of minor league baseball 2 straight seasons, the last 2 years. It skips away from him, 2-2. And last year was the Rangers 2017 Minor League Defender of the Year.
Well, Hanser Alberto, who just was recently sent back to the minor leagues, won that same award as a shortstop in AAA several years ago.
Well, this ball launched high in the air out to left. And that's going to be playable for Gallo. Well, in the inning, a leadoff home run by Ian Desmond, though, has stretched the lead for the Rockies. They're on top 7-5. No hidden fees. That's transparency. And by GMC. Visit your local GMC dealer. All right, Chu to start things off here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Chu to Shields Profar. 7-5. The score in this one tonight. Rangers had a 5-run first inning. And Chu was not a part of it. He grounded out to start the first inning. He walked in the second. And that walk extended his streak now to 29 straight games in which he has reached base safely.
There you go back to one of the pennant races. Can't remember exactly which year it was. And Chu had a streak much like this one that lasted even longer. I think it was over a month, where he put up almost the same kind of numbers, an OPS over 1,000, on base percentage close to 50%. So this is not something that's strange for Chu to put together an extended streak like this. He's done this before. And he's healthy now, and you know the Rangers aren't playing well. He is sure performing well at the top of the lineup.
And he strikes out here to start the 5th inning. Yeah, I think you're thinking of the 2015.
Was it 15?
Stretch run. Yeah.
Center fielder, Delino.
Seemed like it lasted for 4 or 5 weeks. There were other really good players on that team, so he didn't necessarily carry the team, but he was an integral part of the stretch run late in August into September.
Well, he hit .343 after the break and had an on-base percentage of .455.
After the break, so
After
that's
the
2+ months. That's
Yeah.
a long time to put up those numbers.
Yeah, he hit .404 in September.
Wow. Yeah, that's coming
40.
down. That's coming down the stretch with some thunder.
Yeah.
Best streak I think we've seen here was Josh Hamilton, who hit over 400 for a 3-month period.
And to Shields a quick strikeout, and there are 2 away in the 5th inning.
You have to give Bettis some credit. He got bombed in the first inning. 4 hits, 2 home runs, walked 2, threw over 30 pitches. Looked like he was on his way for a short night. He still has a pretty high pitch count, but he's made a nice comeback.
Well, he has struck out 5 of the last 7 hitters he has faced.
You were saying he's not a strikeout guy, and all of a sudden he's showing that occasionally he can be. That's a nice turnaround for him after that first inning.
His season high in strikeouts this year is 6. He has 5 so far here tonight.
And you wonder, you mentioned this when it happened, that he came out for the bottom of the second with a 1-run lead after being behind 5-0 in the first inning. Colorado scored 6 in the top of the second. It's almost like that did give him a shot of adrenaline and a second chance in this ball game, and he's made the best of it so far.
Ball and 2 strikes now on Profar, who homered in that 5-run first inning, had a 2-run blast into the upper deck in right field. And then he rolled into a double play to win the second. Now Bettis coming into the game, he had a strikeout per 9 of 6.3. That was the 6th lowest in the National League. Profar stays alive. Jurickson was 2 for 5 on Wednesday night out in Los Angeles. And over the last 24 games now, he has an on-base average nearing 330. He's hit the ball well, a lot of extra base hits. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Leads the team in doubles, leads the team in triples. But his time as an everyday shortstop may be coming to a close here soon. Elvis Andrus continuing his rehab, plays tonight, his 5th rehab game tonight. And we don't know for sure, but it kind of looks like Andrus would be back for the opener on the next road trip Monday in Kansas City. Meanwhile, this would be the 7th pitch of the at-bat to Profar. Hit it on the ground at second base. LeMahieu will throw him out, and it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the 5th. We go to the 6th inning. Rockies lead by 2. Three-game losing streak for them. Nationals having trouble, by the way, just getting over that last little hump in the East. They continue to sit a game or 2 behind Atlanta today. A game and a half today is, well, Cuevas will lead things off here in the 6th inning for Colorado. (2-0) to Cuevas, 9th place hitter. 1 for 2 tonight. Rockies got 6 runs in the 2nd inning. They sent 10 batters to the plate. And then last inning, Ian Desmond hit a solo home run to open the frame. 7 runs on 8 hits tonight. That's 2-1. Meanwhile, also on our out-of-town scoreboard, it looks like the Astros are leading the Royals, what, 6-3 in the 6th inning, Tom? And you're saying Evan Gattis having another good night?
A grand slam. Yeah, back-to-back games where he drove in 5 runs, and then a couple of days later, now he's got a grand slam. Putting up some huge numbers. Oh, about a 20-plus game stretch, he's probably got 30 RBIs.
Well, Tom, what if I told you with tonight's game, and it's not over yet for him, he has 38 RBIs in his last 28 games.
Wow, I'd believe it. It feels that way watching the box scores day after day. 38 in 28 games.
13 home runs and 38 RBIs in less than a month.
Wow.
Chopper, left side of the infield. Beltre cuts it off. One away. Well, the Rangers and Dr. Pepper teaming up to bring you savings at the ballpark this year. You bring a Dr. Pepper can to the box office or use the online coupon code Dr. Pepper to get tickets starting at just $11. Go to TexasRangers.com/specials and get your tickets for this Sunday afternoon. Rockies and Rangers, the finale of this series. Father's Day fun. Inexpensive tickets thanks to Dr. Pepper. One away here. And DJ LeMahieu sends this one out to center field. The Shield's going back, still going back. Reaches up and makes the catch.
We've seen that one before.
I'll tell you what, that thing just kept carrying on him, but Delano's stuck with it and reels in the 2nd out of the inning.
Yeah, it's one of those tough balls that's hit directly over his head. It was kind of slicing a little bit toward right center field. He really couldn't turn his back on the ball, so he just angles a little bit toward right field. Looking over his left shoulder and makes the play right against the wall. Last homestand, he made one just like it. Pitchers appreciate that kind of effort, where you give your body up, you know you're going to have a collision with a wall, but the concentration allows you to get the ball in your glove and withstand the impact of the wall. Delano's becoming very good at that. I'm not so sure when he first started playing center field that he was comfortable making that kind of a play. But you're talking about a guy, even though he was a second baseman, he's an elite athlete that has played other sports with the speed and the agility and the instincts that he has. You just have to think the more he plays out there, the better he's going to get. It seems to be what's going on right now. He's making those plays on a regular basis.
Well, you mentioned the catch he made back on the homestand, and then the other night in L.A., 9th inning.
I was sleeping,
game.
sorry.
Oh. Well,
same thing.
Rougned Odor made a crazy double play, and then it looked like the game was going to end on a home run to center field, except that Delano went up, smashed up against the wall to reel it in for the final out. We went extra innings, and Bill Jones, of course, former television broadcaster for the Rangers, and he got off the best tweet. He said Odor, because Jesse Chavez was pitching, Odor and Delano DeShields really bailed Chavez out of a ravine.
That's very good.
I was like, wow, that's pretty clever.
That's very clever. Now I wonder if he came up with it after it happened, or if he's had it in the back pocket waiting for something like that to happen.
Wow.
He's probably listening right now, so I want to know the answer to that, Bill.
2-2. It's a full count. That's one of those, when I saw it, I looked at it and I thought, dadgummit, that's good. Why can't I come up with stuff like that? It was brilliant.
Now, have you explained to people that might not understand what was so brilliant about it, why it was brilliant?
Well, in Chavez Ravine,
where the Dodger Stadium is.
A bouncer, shortstop, Profar throws out Blackman, and that's the first time tonight that the Rockies have gone in order. Last of the 6th inning coming. Rangers down by 2. Adrian Beltre will lead things off. Beltre 1 for 2. Got a check swing infield hit in that first inning. A first inning in which the Rangers scored 5 runs. And Chad Bettis, impressive, a breaking ball in there for a strike to Beltre. Pitching here in the 6th inning.
He's retired 10 straight.
Down low, 1-1. Now our TXU Energy Power player to watch is Adrian Beltre. His interleague numbers since the beginning of last year: best average, 3rd best OPS, and he's 12 for 20. And another tapper, third base side. Bettis will throw. Not in time. Yeah, that's right. Infield hit.
In the old days when they used to do the antlers after a base hit, Adrian be doing the antlers twice in this game. Carbon copy of the first one. 2 check swing grounders down the third baseline. Result in 2 hits. Adrian's been hot too. In his last 12 plate appearances coming into the game, he was 8 for 10 with a couple of walks. The best part of this is he's had to sprint all out twice, and his leg has held up.
Yeah. Now Odor. Rugi 0 for 1 with a walk. Well, that might have been the little spark that this team needed here in this 6th inning. Bettis, you figure, getting toward the end of his night. And just foul. He's kind of hoping that he, maybe in a moment of fatigue, makes a mistake, leaves one up, that kind of thing. And Odor, despite just the 1 home run so far this year, obviously a guy who could turn on it and do some real damage. Get us a new ball game here. Bettis, he used 29 pitches in that first inning, which really is not bad considering he faced 8 hitters. So the 5 runs, 6 hits in 5 innings. And his season high in strikeouts this year is 6, so he's very close to that number. 2-2. Dor had 3 walks in those 2 games in Los Angeles. Walked earlier tonight. Battling here with 2 strikes and swings and misses. 6th strikeout victim tonight. Does give us a moment for word from our friends at Southwest Kia.
$250 down, $250 a month or less on select new Kias in stock only at southwestkia.com.
Bettis asking for a new baseball now. Well, 105 pitches in. Native of Lubbock. A Red Raider. And a cancer survivor, Chad Bettis, a guy who had to pitch in relief a little bit early in his career too. A little bouncer to third, Arenado to second one. The relay will not be in time. Kiner Falefa beats it out. And reaches on the fielder's choice, 5-4.
I thought he might have gotten that ball over Arenado's head. Obviously he didn't. Arenado with a quick flip to second base got the force out, unable to get the double play on the high chopper. And after 106 pitches, that might be it for Bettis, but based on a 29 pitch, 4 hit, 5 run first inning with a couple of walks, pretty solid job by Chad Bettis to hang in there and pitch that far into the ballgame.
So he is done. A season high pitch count for him, and Joe Musgrove coming on for the Rockies. Quick dealer. And buy 5-Hour Energy shots. Get back to 100%. Beautiful, very warm evening here tonight in Arlington. And holy Freudian slip that man. Not Joe Musgrove. Harrison Musgrave, the rookie left-hander, who's on for the Rockies.
Well, Musgrave's been tough to hit. Only 11 hits in 18 innings. A 172 opponent's batting average. Few too many walks. He's walked 8 in 18 innings. But overall, nice start to the season. Sinker, slider, fastball, and a changeup.
He is on for Bettis. 2 outs and a runner aboard, and Gallo, who struck out last time, watches one low. Gallo hit the 2-run homer back in the first inning. Lefty on lefty. 3 outfielders this time against Gallo. Oh, and that one gets away. There goes Kiner Falefa. That might be a pass ball. It looked like it hit Murphy in the glove. Might have been crossed up, but hit him in the glove nonetheless.
A slider down and away. It just went off the side of his glove.
That was a pass ball. And a favorable count for Gallo, 2-0. Musgrave has never seen Gallo before. It's not in person. Breaking ball, 2-1. So back of the first inning, this was Gallo, and they get out in a hurry.
Example of Joey not pulling the ball in the air. It doesn't really matter whether he pulls it or not. When he hits a ball like that, there's no park that's going to keep it in the park, whether you hit it down the left field line or the right field line.
2-2, and it was another really well hit ball. It's the 3rd home run he's hit this year, in excess of 115 miles per hour. Two. A swing and a miss, strike 3. Gallo strikes out 2, and the Rangers threat in the 6th. We go to the 7th inning tonight with the Rockies leading by 2.
Desmond home run, followed by an RBI hit by DJ LeMahieu, a soft ground ball by Charlie Blackmon that drove in another run. Nolan Arenado down the left field line for a double, drives in 2, And the inning is capped off by Trevor Story with an RBI hit. Turns out to be a 6-run, 7-hit second inning. The Rangers had jumped out 5-0 in the first inning. The Rockies scored 6 in the top of the 7th. They would add 1 more when Desmond hit his second home run. They lead now 7-5.
And a new pitcher on for the Rangers. Tony Barnett checks in for the 17th time.
Numbers for Tony. Nice ERA, 2.75. Been throwing the ball well lately. Not many walks. 20 strikeout to 4 walk ratio, which is outstanding.
It's Arenado to chase the first pitch for a strike. Now your in-game box score for the Rockies. Lots of contribution up and down the order. Ian Desmond has had the real big night, but Arenado with a 2-run double, his hit. He's in a hole 0-2. This is a guy who has averaged 40 home runs and 131 RBIs over the last 3 seasons. Now he's a free agent after this year too.
Yeah, I don't know how you could be much more consistent than Arenado. 130, 133, 130 RBIs the last 2 years. He's probably going to have to go to get to 130 this year, though. Big RBI guy so far for the Rockies has been Trevor Story. He leads the National League in RBIs, 51 now.
Oh, 2 pitch. Ooh, did he go? No. You look at since the beginning of 2016, and Arenado with 90 home runs. Only 4 guys in the game who can claim to have hit more.
He's been pretty consistent in the home run department too. 42, 41, and 37. Oh, second double.
Went out into the left field corner. Arenado will cruise into second. So a leadoff double against Tony Barnett here in the 7th.
Well, you mentioned he had a day off. He was struggling a little bit, but he's not struggling in this game. That was looked like a slider. Stayed up a little bit on Tony. Arenado dives into that ball and rips it down the left field line. Second double, both of them hit almost the exact same way. Line drives to left field toward the line. Came into the game 10th in the National League with a 305 average. So even with the slump, he still maintained a 300 average.
Now Story. Spoiled foul. Rockies are 4 for 5 with runners in scoring position tonight. Let's see what Trevor Story has done this year. That's a guy who came to storming out of the gates as a rookie a couple years ago. He's only 25 years old. From right here in the Metroplex, grew up in Irving, and he takes one in 1-1. He's 25. He was a first-round pick in 2011, the 45th overall. He does strike out a lot, though. 1-2 the count. Last year he struck out 191 times. The most in the league, and it was also the most in Rockies franchise history. The Rockies came through town a couple of years ago in 2016, but Story missed that series. He had a thumb injury at the end of July that forced him to miss the rest of the year, and he was so disappointed not to be able to play in that series at home in front of family and friends. So just tickled to be here tonight, and boy is he playing in front of family and friends. Over 200 here tonight. Stays 2-2. Got to answer a lot of questions today. A lot of reporters wanting to get into his mindset coming into this series, and he was all too happy to talk. He was excited. I'd love to see it. Two. Fights off yet another. Story says growing up and coming to ball games here, his favorite player was Michael Young. Pretty good choice.
It sure is.
This ball lined out to right center. It'll get down base hit. Arenado around third. He'll score. Story going for 2. He'll be there easily with an RBI double, and Trevor Story has a 2-hit night.
Trevor Story coming back and playing in front of his hometown. That's almost the same exact pitch that Arenado pulled down the left field line for a double. A slider that didn't get to the location Tony was hoping for. And instead of pulling this one, Story goes into right center field. Second hit that has driven in a run.
So now he's out there in scoring position. And Ian Desmond, 2 homers tonight. He takes a strike. It's time for the Rocket Mortgage breakdown. And look at this. Rockies road home runs this year. Desmond has 2 tonight to give him 11. He and Charlie Blackmon both in double digits on the road. And you just don't think of that when you think of Rockies hitters. You think of them doing their damage in their home ballpark. Story in front of his hometown, family and friends. Arenado in front of his old team, or rather Desmond in front of his old team, and has blasted 2 home runs. This one in the air. Guzman won't have room.
She had another shot at one.
Yeah, was that a clean shot or was it on the camera that she was about to get that one?
I couldn't tell. I was looking for her. I just saw her right at the end. Forgot exactly which row she was in.
Still has a glove on.
Good spot though. Let's take a look.
Right, that was right at her.
Yeah.
Ooh, strike 3 called. Desmond down looking. 1 away here in the 7th inning. Well, you can keep your favorite beverage steaming hot or icy cold with the first ever Rangers tumbler, courtesy of Academy Sports and Outdoors. First 15,000 fans to the game on Monday, June 25th will get to take home this useful item. Be there for the Padres and Rangers. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com. We're calling 972 Rangers. All right, Tom Murphy, the hitter, and he takes a strike from Tony Barnett. Base hit in that 6-run second inning. But has since grounded out and struck out. This ball hit out towards center field, and DeShields coming in on it, makes the catch. Story will have to hold second base, 2 out.
Yeah, hard hit ball by Murphy, and fortunately Delino was shading him in right center field enough to where that slicing line shot was playable for him. He's not playing in right center field. That ball probably rolls to the wall. So good defensive placement right there against Murphy. Murphy was having a big year in AAA. He had 16 home runs and 45 RBIs at AAA before he was called up. So he's been swinging a hot bat.
Well, Gerardo Parra, one of the few hitless Rockies today. Just 2 guys without hits, Parra and the man waiting on deck, Chris Iannetta. And Barnett starts him away. Parra did reach on a fielder's choice in the 2nd inning and then scored a run. Barnett's the 3rd pitcher of the night. Yoander Mendez started, went 3 innings. Matt Moore went 3 innings in relief. So now Barnett. There's Story now with a 9-game hitting streak. Taking his lead off second base. Barnett not terribly worried about him. Started after it but held off. Well, he rebounded nicely last year. Parra had a really tough 2016. When he came back last year, hit .309 with an on-base average over .340. Rolls this one weakly down to first. Good scoop down there by Guzman, and the inning is done. Rockies add a run, and they lead by 3. We're at the 7th inning stretch. We'll also keep it right here for God Bless America as we turn it over to public address announcer Chuck Morgan.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. Will you please rise and direct your attention to the area behind home plate and welcome Sergeant Jeffrey McCormick of the United States Army. In honor of all the veterans who have served our country and the servicemen and women who are currently stationed home and around the world, Sergeant McCormick will now perform God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Well, the stretch is done, and now to the bottom of the 7th. Rangers need to get that offense going again. Had an explosion in the first inning of 5 runs, but have shown little life since then. Just 2 hits, in fact, since that first inning. Guzman fouls that one off, and it is 1-1. Guzman 0 for 2. Rolled out and struck out. Rangers trailed by 3 here in the 7th inning. This ball lifted out to left field, but Parra's not going to have to go very deep for it. 1 out here in the 7th. All right, time for a word now from our friends at Kia.
At Kia, get America's best value backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
All right, Jose Trevino. He is 0 for 2 so far. Had to come in for Carlos Perez, who left the game with a sprained right ankle.
I'd love to see him get his first big league hit right here.
Look at the in-game box score, and they put him with 4 other Rangers with hits tonight, and takes a strike count 0-2.
Well, Robinson will be back, and Jose will probably go back to the minor leagues, so you don't know when your next chance is going to come. So while you're here in your first game, he's hit a couple of ground balls that had a chance to be base hits. They turned into outs. Love to see him get one right here. Nice way, if you do go back to the minor leagues, to have had your first major league hit.
1-2. And he'll go down looking 2 away here in the 7th inning.
A pitch at the bottom of the strike zone, and it was the bottom inside part of the strike zone.
Well, Musgrave came on last inning in relief of Chad Bettis. Bettis battled his way through 5 2/3. I say battled his way. I mean, he had the rough first inning, but outside of that was really pretty good.
Yeah, he didn't have it in the first inning. He walked a couple of guys, and the home run that Profar hit and the home run that Gallo hit came on hanging breaking balls. So he was struggling with his off-speed pitches, struggling with his command, but seemed like he got a new life when in the top of the second the Rockies scored 6 runs. It gave him a 1-run lead, and then he came back and shut down the Rangers.
Chu with 2 away and nobody on. He's been on once. Fouls it away. 1-2 the count. Well, coming into this thing, part of the thought process for the Rangers offensively had to be just battle that starter, get him out of the game. As Chu swings and misses, and it's a 1-2-3 for Musgrave. We go to the 8th inning tonight. It's 8-5 Rockies.
Yeah.
Astros just took off. Seattle's been playing great baseball, but the Astros 20 games over 500 all of a sudden. They can't seem
Seattle's
to lose.
hung right with them. They've won. Astros have won 8 straight. This will be 9, and Seattle's only half a game behind them. As of right now, the race is pretty uncontested. Yankees and the Red Sox, Cleveland, Houston, and Seattle. Quite a distance between the wild card teams right now and anyone else with a chance. Cleveland's not playing that well, but the whole division is playing poorly.
One pitch to Iannetta. He was 0 for 2 tonight with a walk. Yeah, it's really weird. I mean, normally we talk about the 1 or 2 teams that might not be in any wild card conversation this time of year, but so many teams in the American League are just, they have fallen way by the wayside.
Yeah, National League's an entirely different story. All 3 division races have a number of teams within striking distance. Someone's going to have to get hot other than the 5 teams right now that are the playoff teams.
Still quite a ways to go. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Strike 3, and Iannetta strikes out to start the 8th inning. We check in with John Radigan.
Yeah, you know, 8-5 in the 8th. I thought it might be time to call in the cavalry, and lo and behold, we got a member of the cavalry here for reals. He is our progressive fan of the game. He is Sergeant Jeffrey McCormick of the 1st Cavalry. I love the fact that he serves his nation and protects us, but I love this uniform. Jeffrey, explain the uniform to us.
So this is the ASU's. It is our dress uniform. We have the blues on top. Used to be green. Stripe on the pants signifies I'm a non-commissioned officer. We have the Cav Stetson being specific to the 1st Cavalry Division. And then we have the spurs on the shoes, which soldiers have the opportunity to earn either in combat or in garrison environments.
Well, you're awesome. Here's the progressive fan. And by the way, you heard him sing. He sang the anthem and God Bless America. He's been deployed to Afghanistan once. He's serving our nation. It's Army Appreciation Night. We appreciate you.
Thank you. It's an absolute honor. Thank you very much.
Our pleasure, guys. Back to you.
All right. Great story, John. What a guy.
Awesome.
I'd like to know if he's warm in that uniform.
It's got to be hot in that thing.
He did a great job singing today, too. Thanks for your service and thanks for entertaining us tonight.
Well, 2 away, and here is DJ LeMahieu. Rockies have gone in order in just 1 inning tonight. That was in the 6th, and LeMahieu was part of that as well. Their leadoff man, 1 for 4. And he takes strike 1 from Tony Barnett. Barnett, through the 7th inning, allowed a run. Trying to get multiple innings out of him, just as they got 3 innings out of Matt Moore. This ball shot to the right side, foul out of play. Mayhew won the batting title in 2016. Hit .310 last year for the Rockies. In fact, that was his 3rd straight year at hitting in excess of 300. This year's the leadoff man comes in tonight .276 with a batting average. Puts this on the ground, and that is a base hit into left field. LeMahieu will round and go to second. He has a 2-out double. Just another extra base hit for the Rockies.
Well, LeMahieu is a guy that makes solid contact at the plate. Obviously, can't win a batting championship if you don't do that. But he's not a big strikeout guy. And earlier in the game, we talked about how he uses the whole field. He'll pull the pitches he can handle and go the opposite way with pitches out over the plate. Just a good, solid hitter. And for a big guy, pretty agile around the bag at second base, too.
Well, he's out there in scoring position for Charlie Blackmon. Blackmon had a single in the 2nd inning. They've had 4 doubles and 2 home runs tonight, the Rockies. And this was, they just came off a series with Philadelphia. They played 3 games in that series. They had 7 extra base hits in that series, but 6 tonight in the opener of this one. Blackmon shoots it foul. 1-2. Blackmon, a guy who has thrived in Colorado, and he thrives in sort of that cliche way you might imagine. Last year, his home batting average .391. His road batting average .276. And 2 stays alive. And of course, fitting maybe that he plays in Denver. Looks like a guy who just walked straight down the side of the mountains. Put on a uniform for let's go, boys. Where can I hitch my oxen? Little bouncer, second base. Kiner Falefa right there, and the inning is done. So the Rockies leave a man. Last of the 8th inning, Rangers trail by 3.
Off for heroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Beautiful shot of Globe Life Park on this Friday night. Rockies lead the Rangers 8-5, bottom of the 8th inning, and Adam Ottavino is back for the Rockies.
He's got a couple of O's in his last name, and he's got an O for his number 0. I guess 0 is not a number, is it? Is 0 a number?
I think of it as a number.
I do too.
I don't know.
I think I heard someone say 0 is not a number.
See, I was never good at that, like what's an integer and a number and all that other stuff.
Well, then Since we both feel that way, let's call it he's number 0.
I think he's number 0.
You can check your social media for how wrong we are.
Yeah, they'll let us know. They're good at that. The Shields takes one off the plate.
Speaking of numbers, since we didn't do the game yesterday, I'm going to mention this. Did you see what yesterday was the anniversary of in Major League Baseball? 44th anniversary of a game played in Anaheim between the Angels and the Red Sox in 1974. The game went into the 15th inning. The Angels won 4-3 on a walk-off. Nolan Ryan pitched 13 innings in that game for the Angels, got a no decision, walked 10, and struck out 19, and threw at least 235 pitches, probably over 250 pitches. They don't know for sure. But with 19 strikeouts and 10 walks, it probably was. Just think about that. Let's say it was only 235 pitches. That's a conservative guess. Well, Louis Tiant for the Red Sox pitched the whole game. He got beat on a walk-off in the 15th inning, so he pitched like 14 in the third. I dare say that there's a better chance that someone is going to have a 56-game hitting streak or beat Nolan Ryan's strikeout record than there is that two pitchers will pitch 13 and 14 in the third innings in the same game, and one pitcher will throw over 200 pitches.
Yeah.
That will never happen again.
Nope. Not if that game happens on, in a single sitting. Right, if you have one of those situations where they resume play 4 days later or something, maybe. It's the Shields rolls out to short. There's no chance.
But
so
then the other part of that, Dave, is Nolan throws 13 innings, 235 pitches, and then comes back on 3 days rest in his next start. So it's just amazing in the difference in the way pitchers pitch now as opposed to back then. 4-man rotations. Not uncommon for a pitcher to throw 300 innings. Not uncommon for a pitcher to have 20 complete games. Fergie had 27 or 29 complete games his first year in Texas. Love to know how many pitches Nolan averaged in his highest average pitch per game season. Had to be 160 maybe.
I mean,
He averaged more pitches than a pitcher would dream of throwing in a game now.
That's the thing. Is there anybody today? I mean, I guess there probably are guys today who similarly end up throwing a lot of pitches. It just takes so long because he walked so many guys, struck out so many guys, deep counts.
Yeah, the thing that made it go quick is they didn't hit much off him, though.
I love in that whole story, we just gloss over the fact that he punched out 19.
Punched out 19. I like the fact that he came back on 3 days rest.
Well, if
today, if a pitcher threw 235 pitches in back-to-back starts with 4 days rest, you'd be remarking what a durable guy he is.
Well, 3 people would lose their jobs. Hold foul, 2-2. There's no way you can't. There's no coach, no manager on the planet that would be allowed to let a guy throw 200.
No, I mean in back-to-back starts. If you total 235 pitches,
and, okay, yeah. So you go.
If you total like 118, 117 pitches, I'll guarantee you, if we saw that, we'd be mentioning it during a game. Well, he probably wouldn't have thrown 9 innings in each game. He might have, 14 or 15 innings, and over 2 games, 235 pitches, and we'd be saying, boy, this is one of the more durable workhorses in the league.
Yep. And they'd be on high alert. They'd be watching him real closely the next time out.
Yeah. And it's not, it's not like Nolan was a finesse pitcher or a knuckleball pitcher where he wasn't taking a lot out of himself on every pitch. And you're talking about a maximum effort guy that back then used to grunt after each pitch that he threw. I don't know how many pitches Louis Tiant threw in that game. Probably had to be 175 to 200. But when Nolan got to 100 pitches back then, he was just getting warmed up. I mean, you weren't even talking about, whoa, he's reached 100 pitches in this game, whether it was the 4th inning or the 8th inning. He had 50 or 60 more pitches to go.
A walk to Profar. And here comes Adrian Beltre, already with 2 hits tonight. I would think the analytics would say right here, Tom, that they should put 2 or 3 infielders just to the left of the pitcher's mound.
Yeah, move them in. Yeah, that's right. You go by the most recent performance.
He takes one down the middle for a strike. Has 2 hits tonight, and they traveled probably on average about 47 feet between the third baseline and the mound. Check swings, both of them. 1-1. Well, we were talking earlier about how the struggles of this Rockies team. They're 3-8 so far in the month of June, and they've gone from leading the division by a game and a half to trailing by 5. But that a lot of it has been the struggles of the bullpen. 2-1 to Beltre. Now, while they struggled, one of the issues was that Adam Ottavino out of the mound was on the disabled list. Just reinstated today, a left oblique strain, and it caused a big ripple effect in that bullpen. It's 2-2 now. Look at their results for the month of June. Rockies bullpen ERA approaching 9. And then all the other numbers tell you why. Those are terrible.
You're giving up an OPS of 1023. You're getting bombed.
Check swing, and he got a piece of it.
Well, Ottavino has a really good combination of pitches. That was a 94-mile-an-hour sinker that just shot in on the hands of Adrian, and the pitch before it was a hard slider away. Take a look at the last pitch and watch the movement as it goes in on Adrian's fist. He wanted to swing at that, but then when he caught the late movement, he tried to check his swing. So when you've got that combination of a ball coming in at 94 and then sliding away at 84, 85, it's tough to handle both of those pitches. That's why he's such a good reliever.
2-2.
And when you've given up, in his case, 8 hits in 28 innings, that pretty much tells you all you need to know.
Let me see where he stands among other relievers in strikeouts per 9 in the National League. 4th. Almost 14.3 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. So far, ground out and a walk. There goes a runner, and that one inside and got Beltre. And I'm not sure, almost looked like Ottavino got so distracted by Profar running that he got a little out of whack there. But now 2 base runners on for the Rangers.
Well, he got hit by an off-speed pitch, which is fortunate. You can see the breaking ball coming out of his hand and almost backing up and going the wrong way. It was spinning the right way, but it didn't break the right way. It just stayed inside instead of curving back over the plate. Stayed there and hit Adrian. Now in a 3-run game, the Rangers will have the tying run come into the plate. Ottavino struggling a little bit with his command. How about the numbers of Josh Hader? 17 plus strikeouts per 9 innings. I've had a chance to see him only in the highlights, but from the left side, good luck trying to hit him. I don't care if you're a right-hand hitter or a left-hand hitter.
You called that one early too, like a month or 2 ago. You're like, that guy.
I just saw him. I saw a replay of several strikeouts in a row and just thought it looked like it was impossible to make contact against him. Looks like it is.
Well, this bullpen struggles, not limited just to the ERA and whatnot. 13 blown saves this year for the Rockies. 2nd most in baseball. And even you look back at the last 10 losses, 8 of them they led late. Tying run at the plate in Odor, and he takes a strike. It's 1-1. Profar at second, Beltre at first. Sweat just pouring off of Ottavino's cap when he looks down.
Josh Hader's pitched 38 innings in relief in 23 games, so he's not just coming in to get a left-hand hitter out. That's a lot of innings. given up 12 hits and struck out 75. So as a reliever in 38 innings, he has 75 strikeouts. That would lead 10 teams in strikeouts. He's a relief pitcher.
He's probably not getting in that game tonight.
That kind of redefines dominating.
It's amazing how much swagger it seems like a closer like that can give a team. Milwaukee leading that division by a game and a half. They lead tonight by 11 runs.
Yeah, I don't even know if he's the closer now.
Time called by Murphy, the catcher.
Corey Knebel was.
Oh, yeah.
Corey Knebel was the closer at the beginning, and then when he got hurt, Hader was the closer. So I'm not sure who's the closer now, but that's a pretty stout 8th and 9th inning tandem.
Gore strikes out swinging. 2 away. Well, enhance your next game day experience with the MLB Ballpark app. You can access and manage your tickets, enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and a whole lot more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. Well, the Rangers are 3 for 6 tonight with runners in scoring position. And a spot here for Kiner Falefa. Trevino finds the outside corner for a strike. Kiner Falefa with a hit in 3 tries. Rangers have put some good at bats on Ottavino this inning. Shields saw 6 pitches before grounding out. Profar a 7-pitch walk. Beltre 7 pitches before he was hit by a pitch. Oh, 0-2. Now the Rockies real hopeful that Ottavino being back now in that pen will really settle things down. Put everybody in their regular spots. You look at the inning by inning numbers for this team, and they have really struggled in the 6th and 7th innings. The numbers completely out of whack when you get to the mid to late innings, in part because that bullpen has been shifted around from time to time. The 1-2. That'll even things up. But this has not been easy for Ottavino tonight. His 29th pitch of the inning. Profar off second. Beltre the man at first. 2-2 to Kiner Falefa. And he strikes out swinging. Rangers leave a pair. We go to the 9th. It's 8-5. Fees. That's transparency. And by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today. Ford is the best in Texas. Well, 8-5 the score here. Top of the 9th inning. Time for our Southwest Airlines player breakdown tonight. And Ian Desmond, wow, came out swinging. And they just kept adding to it. It was a 6-run second inning. The Rockies 3, 4, and 5 hitters. How about that? 6 for 11, 4 runs, 6 RBIs. A lot of extra base hits. It's an often, you said it in the first inning, Tom. When you send those first 4 to the plate, LeMahieu, Blackman, Arenado, and Story, it's no wonder that they have the most first inning runs in Major League Baseball. Today they just waited to the second inning to do most of the damage.
Yeah, when you look at LeMahieu and Blackman, if you go back to 2015, LeMahieu's average is .315. That's the 3rd best in the National League. And Charlie Blackman's right up there with him. Charlie Blackman had an incredible season last year. He had .331, won a batting championship, and hit 37 home runs. Set the major league record for 103 RBIs by a leadoff hitter. So you've got two batting champions, LeMahieu and Blackman, and Arenado, who's averaged 40 home runs and 131 RBIs the last 3 years. That gets us a bunch of runs right there. Well, Trevor Story benefiting from those three guys hitting in front of him. I don't know that he's hit cleanup the whole season, but he's hit behind those guys, and he leads the league with 52 RBIs.
Well, the 2-1 fouled away. Brandon Mann joined the team today. You see what he has done at Round Rock, but great to see Brandon back. His second go round with the Rangers, was up for 10 days in May. Threw 5 shutout innings in his first 3 major league appearances. Two balls, 2 strikes on Arenado. Arenado, Story, and Ian Desmond this inning. Rockies lead 8-5. Rangers trying to put an end to a season-long losing skid right now. And fouled away. Stays 2-2. Rangers have dropped 6 straight. Remarkably, some of the struggles have been here at home. That's the one thing that's been maybe tougher to figure out than just about anything else. 13-23 at home. This ball in the air, left center field. The Shields ranging back up against the wall, and that one is gone. Arenado's 13th home run of the year, and it makes it 9-5.
Another example of Delino just giving his body up, going full speed into the wall. Somehow he was able to come up with that one. He really would have had a highlight catch. Didn't go out by much. You can see him going as hard and as high as he can go to try to catch that. He needed about 3 more feet to do it. Just barely over his glove. Great effort. Arenado, 2 doubles, a home run, 3 runs knocked in, and scored 3 runs. Pretty good night.
Well, looks like that day off may have worked.
Yeah.
You certainly feel pretty good if you're Buddy Black. You feel like maybe you gain a little credibility with some of the guys in the clubhouse after that one. Bill Miller out trying to catch butterflies or something. Moth. One and two. This was after that last pitch here, Tom. Sometimes you just got to take care of business yourself. You're the plate umpire and the crew chief. Look out! I got this one. Don't worry about it, boys. Yep.
Well, nice job.
There we go.
Well, he didn't catch it, but he got rid of it. That would have been something if that stayed there and flew right up in the batter's face while the pitch was coming. That'd be, you're talking about deception. That'd offer a little bit of deception.
Pretty good sized little moth or whatever that was. Had the skunk in LA the other night at this time of game. Oh, you didn't miss a thing, trust me. that was not pleasant. It's like they want it away here on Story. And it comes in a little bit low, 2-2. Brandon Mann, well traveled. To tell his story last time he was up. Such an incredible journey he has taken. This one lined up the middle and caught. Tanner Falefa right there to take a hit away from Trevor Story. Well, tomorrow, the middle game of this series in our Ford Probables. Kyle Freeland on the mound for the Rockies, making his 14th start and looking for his 7th win already this year. Good numbers all the way around for him. Mike Minor goes for the 13th time for the Rangers, trying to pick up his 5th victory. So now here is Ian Desmond. Desmond with 2 home runs. And not cheated on that one either right there. 1-1 the count.
Ian had an excellent season for the Rangers back in 2016. He hit .285, 22 home runs, knocked in 86, and scored over 100 runs. 107 to be exact.
That was a fun year.
A great teammate too. He plays hard and gives a professional effort every second he's in uniform.
Ground ball, that one through into left field, a base hit. Well, day 2 of the U.S. Open earlier today on Fox and FS1 by Dustin Johnson. How about that? 4 under right now and 4 clear of Scott Piercy and Charlie Hoffman. That course has been brutal in Shinnecock. The weather wasn't great today, although the rain early, I had the feeling maybe the scores would get a little bit lower.
Scott Piercy is second. He 3-putted from 3 feet.
Whoa.
He's putting for birdie. He puts it past, misses the cup, tips the cup, goes past it, misses it coming back from 3 feet, then from about 2 feet, and then he putted it in. If he made that first putt, he'd be only a couple of strokes behind.
0-2 the count. I saw somebody else I saw, and he was playing well yesterday. Might have been Duffner. 4-putted from, I don't know, 6 feet.
Yeah.
Man.
See, I don't 4-putt because after a couple, I just pick it up. I'm not gonna.
Somebody.
I'm not going through that.
Usually somebody's nice enough just to kind of slap it right back to you. I don't worry about it.
those putts from 1 or 2 feet that they're missing, we're not even taking. I had a putt the other day from about 8 inches away that a guy flicked back to me and he said, "I think you could make that." And I said, "Yeah, I could make that about 99 times out of 100."
With nothing on the line. High fly ball left field. Gallo runs out of room. Well, 3rd round coverage of the 118th U.S. Open continues tomorrow from Shinnecock Hills on Fox FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
So if you played from the tips yesterday, not today, yesterday, in the wind on that course, what do you think you could shoot? If you had to put everything out, you had to play. You had to play just like they
count all the lost balls.
Everything.
143.
I think I'd be shooting to break 150.
5-4-3 the double play. Nicely turned. And it ends the top of the 9th. Last chance for the Rangers coming up. Joey Gallo will lead it off when we come back.
Dana Larson here along with Mike Bassick and Mark McLemore. We'll have Rangers Live, the post-game edition, coming up right after the game. Mac, what's on the rundown?
Well, I'm going to talk about that 5-run explosion the Rangers had in the first inning and hopefully another explosion here in the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, and we'll also have to look at Ian Desmond. He had a really nice homecoming back here in Arlington.
It's not how you start, but how you finish. Hopefully a good finish to talk about. We'll see you all right after the game, guys.
Sounds great, Dana, and I agree. May they finish strong right here. This one, listen, still within reach. Wade Davis, the closer, has come on here for the Rockies.
Wade Davis already with 20 saves. 26 innings, 31 strikeouts. More walks than you would normally see from him. Opponents are hitting below 200. Great stuff. Fastball in the mid-90s, cutter, curveball. He was a starting pitcher. And as a starting pitcher, he didn't show the same velocity that he shows as a reliever. He was a capable starting pitcher, but he came into his own when he was put into the late inning bullpen role where he could come in and air it out for an inning. His fastball jumped from the low 90s to the upper 90s, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Well, he's had a nice little run these last couple of years, and he goes 2-0 here on Gallo. But 3 blown saves this season for Wade Davis. What you dangle out there is a little bit of hope. If he could just wobble a little. This one within reach. Gallo homered earlier and struck out twice since. He now has 101 strikeouts this year. And now 3-1 the count. They had gone with 4 outfielders earlier, but a more traditional looking dramatic shift against a left-handed hitter now for the Rockies. They were just goofing around a little bit earlier. And there's ball 4. So leadoff walk in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Well, Trevino had to throw somewhere around 28 or 30 pitches for his 8th inning. He walked the batter. Wade Davis hasn't had impeccable control. He's walked somewhere around 4 per 9 innings. It's off to a little shaky start here in a non-save situation.
Now here's Guzman. He went to a frustrating at bat in the 4th inning. He struck out looking as the pitcher was off the plate. He thought was certain was a ball, and then he thought he had timeout or called timeout. It was never granted, and ended up watching strike 3. And he takes on the corner. 1-1 the count. Guzman batting 8th. 7 home runs this year, 29 RBIs, and a lot of his numbers skewed to the late innings. And a slow roller off the mound. Caroms towards second. They'll flip to second. 1 to reel to first. In time. What a double play. LeMahieu and Story combining on an acrobatic 4-6-3 twin killing.
Now LeMahieu's a big guy, but he's very agile. He gives Story a perfect flip. Trevor does a 360, knows he's got to put something on it, and shows some plus arm strength that you see from most shortstops. Aired it out probably about 98 miles an hour back to first base. Nicely done by the slick fielding middle infield for Colorado.
Very impressive. And now the first pitch to Trevino, up and away for a ball. So one more chance for Trevino to get that first big league hit. Takes a strike. It's 1-1. Jose called up today. Rangers went with 1 less arm in the bullpen to have Trevino up here. Robinson Chirino serving a 1-game suspension, so it's not clear that Trevino would be here again tomorrow. He takes outside. It's 2-1. He was not in the lineup today, but Carlos Perez left with a sprained right ankle in the 2nd inning. And Trevino's had 3 at bats so far. High pop up. Back of first base, and that will do it tonight. 9-5 the final score here as the Rockies take the opening game of this series, and the Rangers losing streak reaches a season high 7 games. Stay with us. Still a lot to talk about this evening. Dana Larson, Mark McLemore, Mike Bassick are back in the studio to break it all down for you. For Tom Grieve and John Radigan, as well as our entire crew, I'm Dave Raymond, inviting you to stay with us. More Rangers coverage coming right after this.